Hi, this is Scott over at Glow Research again. What we're going to show right now is how to remove and install the quartz chamber from the AutoGlow system. This needs to be done anytime you ship it, so when you receive the machine, it's not going to have the chamber inside of it. The first thing that we're going to want to do is to make sure that there is no power going to the machine. Physically unplug the AC cord from the back. That's the best way to do it. On the back of the system, there's a circuit breaker that is right next to the power cord. Go ahead and turn that off. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to remove the securing screws from the top cover. That includes the screws that go along the top and the sides, down both sides of the top cover, and also the same in the back. This right here is the circuit breaker that we were talking about. So we're going to go ahead and switch it down so it's in the off position, and we're going to actually pull the power cord from the machine. Now we're ensured that there's no power to the machine. What we've done is we've removed all the screws that holds the top of the case on. So we're ready to remove the top of the case. Now before we remove the top, one other thing that we need to do is we need to disconnect the upper interlock, which is this right here. So we're going to go ahead and separate these two control. This would come up with the case, and we just bring this up and off. Okay, now we've got the top cover off. We're ready to remove the quartz chamber and the gas lines from the back of the quartz chamber, and also the connector at the downspout. While we've got the back lid off, the top lid, sorry, the different parts of the AutoGlow that you can see here, this is going to be your powered electrode, this foil that goes over the top. The grounded electrode goes underneath. This right here is your matching network. This will match the impedance from the chamber to the generator, which is below the deck in here on the left-hand side. So let's go ahead and remove the quartz chamber. First thing we want to do is remove the door. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove the foil and flip it over. We're only removing from the right hand side. We're not going to touch the left hand side, only the right hand side. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and loosen all three screws first, so that you have equal pressure on the ceramics. The ceramics are very fragile. Once they're loose, then we can go ahead and take the screws out. Okay, the edge of the electrode, very thin, very sharp, be very careful. What we're going to do now is we're going to simply fold this over on the top to get it out of the way. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to remove the clamp that holds the downspout of the chamber to the 4-line assembly. We'll simply reach in there . Okay, now we're on the last step. We're going to go ahead and remove the black hoses from the swage lock connectors. What I want to do first is I want to actually just put a lint-free cloth over the downspout. You don't want to get anything into the 4-line assembly. Okay, now we're on the last step. We're going to go ahead and remove the black hoses from the swage lock connectors. What I want to do first is I want to actually just put a lint-free cloth over the downspout. You don't want to get anything into the 4-line assembly. Okay, the 15/6" wrench will go on the back side of the swage lock connector. The 1 inch will go on the nut. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and loosen that up. I'll loosen the top one up. Very important, do not drop the wrench on the quartz chamber. Bad things will happen. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take the connector off. Take the bottom connector off. Be very careful of this gas line on top. It's very fragile. Now what we'll do is we'll separate the lines from the ferrules inside. Now we'll very carefully lift this up and okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and put the chamber back into the AutoGlow here. You'll notice that these red washers right here, those are fiber washers, and all they're there for is a little shock absorber between the metal and the actual ceramic, because the ceramic's very fragile. They're not required, but they're nice to have. What I've done with these, I've put just a drop of vacuum grease on the washers so that they kind of stick to the ceramics. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and mate up the downspout to the 4-line assembly. Then I'm going to go ahead and insert the hoses and the ferrules into the connector. Okay, now we're going to put the clamp on there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and line up the downspout. We'll put a little bit of downward pressure on top of the chamber, and we'll put the clamp back on the downspout. Okay, now we're going to take the upper electrode foil and the retaining bar. You line up the holes. Now we're going to go ahead and start with the middle. And we're just going to start it. Go ahead and do the next one. We'll go ahead and start that. Okay, when we tighten the screws on the ceramics, what we want to do is make sure that the retaining plate is flat. You do that with your fingers right here. And go ahead and tighten these screws up.
So you tighten, but you don't over tighten.
Right, we're just going to do this just so it's snug, not tight, just snug. Because if you over tighten it, you're going to break the ceramics. Okay, now we have the top electrode on. It's secured. What we're going to do now is we're going to check the alignment. You can look down there and see that it is aligned. And now we're going to go ahead and connect your gas lines at the back. Okay, we're going to finger tighten these, and then we'll put the final tight on with the wrenches. You want to secure the back portion and tighten the front portion. When you put the top cover back on, remember that the lip of the top cover go behind, or I guess that would be in front, on the inside of the two panels. You also want to make sure that you reconnect your upper interlock cable.